Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me on archive. I am being joined by Joe Habib. I'm doing a sound check as well. How's it going, babe?
Oh, I'm doing so good, man. Just got back from a long walk. I feel great.
Oh, there you go. It's been a long weekend, man. A lot of fights this weekend, right?
Oh my God,
Holy
what
shit.
a calendar! It took me like 2.5 days to watch all those fights.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Now, I'll be honest. I haven't even watched all of them yet. I have some on my DVR I haven't caught up to yet, which is crazy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I just haven't had a shot to or a chance to catch up to that. I haven't been able to do a sound check, but if you could hear me, I'm pretty sure we're good.
yeah, you sound
Uh,
crystal clear.
all right, awesome. Make sure you guys throw a jab at that like button, and for people that are too literal, that means press the jab button or the press the like button. Right?
Yeah,
That-
don't
that- that-
punch, don't punch your computer, guys. Don't punch your computer.
Don't punch the smartphone. Okay, don't go to a Verizon store and say, "Well, the guy told me to jab it." You know, but there you go. Make sure you guys do that. Make sure you vote on the polls, man. Even though it looks like Roy Jones is running away with it, Joe Habib, have you had a shot yet to vote on the polls?
Well, I voted for Roy Jones
Roy Jones all day, every day.
all day, every day.
Yeah, I guess nobody forgot because everyone's voting for Roy Jones, man. It's crazy.
Yep.
It's kind of just a ritual now. We can't continue without just bringing this up really quick. The passing of Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker, one of the greatest to ever do it. I hear a lot of people saying one of the best defensive fight. Dude, he's one of the best fighters, period, ever.
Yes. My second favorite fighter of all time behind Sugar Ray Leonard, and he's a close second.
Yeah, his defense was so good that people don't understand how good his offense was. This guy was a machine. He could do almost everything. He could apply pressure as well. He was a hell of a fighter. Any quick thoughts on Pernell Whitaker?
It's just I have to say this, and it just bothers me that such a great man has to die in the fashion that he died in. It
Yeah.
just seems I don't know the whole story, and I'm sure more will come out. But I mean, I just how to like someone has to be very incompetent to
Yeah.
just run someone over like that. And it was from what I understand, it was during the day too. So I don't know. I'm gutted right now. I'm really gutted. The guy's 55 years old.
Yeah.
He's like 5 years older than me. He's just too young to go. It's horrible. I feel horribly for his family. My condolences go out to his family. I'm really upset about it. It bothers me that this
Yeah.
happened today. Really, it really does.
Yeah, it bothered me too, and that's what made it shocking. There wasn't reports about him being sick or anything like that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's just like something
So
something ridiculous like this.
now, and like you said, full disclosure, I don't know the story behind it,
Yeah, I don't know the story. Maybe
okay,
I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but maybe that's just
but
my
but I will
emotion.
say it's still a reminder, nonetheless. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Pay attention
Yeah,
to the road. You know what I mean? All that. Okay.
you
So,
know, and not to cut you off, I
yeah.
apologize. But even myself going on a walk today, I'm walking in crosswalks, and like these cars are like pulling up to me and slamming the brakes. Like I'm like, buddy,
Yeah.
what is the fucking rush? You know,
Right.
everybody's busy today, but guess what? They're not productive. There's a difference between being busy and being productive.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're rushing around driving your car because you didn't plan ahead. Get up fucking a half hour earlier so you don't have to fucking go 60 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. It's fucking people. They
Right.
piss me. They piss me off. I'm serious.
And of course, like we don't know what happened, but you have to think about it. You know what I mean?
You have
So
to think about it. Yeah.
and even if that wasn't the case, it's still something to keep in mind. I mean, and I did see some tweets out. I think the son of Pernell Whitaker said something about their family wants privacy, so I hope the media leaves them alone for a little bit. You know what I mean? They definitely need to mourn. Beeb, we're gonna start here with the quick thoughts here. Uh, Amir Khan, what's left for Amir Khan? I mean, I don't think his fight proved anything this weekend, but what do you think is left for Khan to do?
I I heard he got some serious coin for that fight.
Yeah, the
I
Saudis are paying a lot of
I
money.
heard that. I heard they paid. I have to be 100% honest, man. I don't see him beating a top contender. I don't. I just don't.
Nope.
But you know what I do see? Him getting another payday. The
Yeah.
guy has a knack for just getting big fights.
Right.
And until he gets knocked out a couple times in a row, he's probably going to still get big fights.
Well, he's been getting knocked down a lot, but
And you know what's crazy? Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he at some point did get a Manny Pacquiao fight. As crazy as that may sound.
Like if Pacquiao wins, or maybe if he loses, just like a goodbye fight or something like that.
Well, the thing is this:
Pacquiao could pick him as his farewell fight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The thing is this: if you follow like trends, basically, you see how fighters will have like a tough fight, which this is a tough fight, the Keith Thurman fight, but then after that they'll kind of have a softer fight. You know what I'm saying? So, Khan could be, with all due respect, Pacquiao's softer fight, like Canelo, Rocky Fielding, then Jacobs. You know what I'm saying? That's how you get longevity out of a career. And I think if you remember that interview we did with Mickey Ward, I think you were there, and I asked him what regret did you have in your career? Have you had any regrets? And if so, what was it? And the major regret he had was he said, I kept taking tough fight after tough fight after tough fight. He said, if I had it all do over again, I would have had some easier fights in between those tough fights. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even you go back to the old days, the Graziano days, they took easy fights in between. Like they stayed busy, but they took easy fights in between.
Yeah, I mean, they would have their title fights, and then they would have their 10-rounder and 8-rounder non-title fights in between those.
Right.
So
now, there was 2 fights. I want to ask you, man. I think we're both kind of in line. We have the same thinking. Jennings, you think he got the short end of the stick?
I scored the fight for Jennings 7 rounds to 5, and then I had to take that stupid point away that made me sick. Yeah. So the fight ended up being 114 to 113.
For Jennings, still, yeah.
For Jennings, and I kind of think that maybe I tried not to be too biased, and maybe I could have given Jennings 8 rounds if I wanted to,
Yeah.
I thought Jennings won the fight. This was a classic case of quality over quantity. Now, Joyce did do some decent body work. Decent. It wasn't phenomenal. It was decent. Every now and then one would get through. But a lot of them were catching the elbows. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Jennings actually hurt Joyce in the fight twice. Once with a left hook and once with a left hook to the body. A left hook to the head and a left hook to the body. And he buzzed him a lot of times with the right hand coming off the ropes.
And one of those times, the ref stepped in to warn Jennings about the low blow.
Yeah, but did Joyce ever get a warning for the forearm and the push off?
Well, he got the ref was telling him, but he never actually stopped the action. And
no point taken away, though, right?
Yeah,
no stern
not at all.
warning. Yeah. So, and again, I mean, this is the sport that we know and we try to love. Is home? When you're the house fighter in your backyard, this is what happens, and it shouldn't happen. It really shouldn't, because it was just too blatant. It was too blatant. Just like the Kid Galahad, Josh Warrington fight. I thought that was a disgusting decision. Disgusting decision.
It was.
I flipped out.
Kid won.
I flipped out. It's like how something's gonna happen, and you say, "Yeah, I know this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen." But then when it does happen, you still flip up because even though you know it's gonna happen, you can't be prepared for it mentally. And I kept saying during that telecast of that fight, not to change the subject, I kept saying, "They're gonna rob him. I know they're gonna rob him. I know they're gonna rob him."
You get that feeling. I mean,
and then when they robbed him, I flipped out. And I knew Jennings wasn't going to get a decision. He had to knock Joyce down 6 times to get a decision over there. It was
Right.
that's the way it was. Thank you, Nelson. Salute to you too, my friend.
Just to give a quick shout out to the chat, man. Rot Neal in the house. The Cali Enigma in the house. Rot Neal, yeah, you got to make sure those drivers you see you before you set foot on the crosswalk. I make sure to slow down and wave. Slow down and wave me on. What if these says Don? Don again. I'm picking Pacquiao. We're gonna get to that. Chen Smoke says, "What's good?" Cali Enigma, he said he scored the fight the same way, Beeb. He scored it for Jennings. Now, since Santos says salute to you, sir, and it says salute to you as well. Don Zeeby says Jennings got robbed big time, but these UK fans say that Fury got robbed when he only outlanded Wilder with the 12 punches, but got dropped 2 times. But they've seen the screen robbery and are fine with Jennings getting robbed. Nelson says salute to you, B, my favorite. What does that mean? Oblong hit.
Yeah, it's like I have like an oval shaped head. I have like a long head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't help it. That's the way I was born.
I thought it was some like UK terms. Is you like
No.
UK?
Oblong is like an oval.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I got you. Well, man, I don't know. Speaking of Joyce, you think they'll do that Dubois fight with Dubois?
I think they'll build it. Because Frank Warren's got both guys. I think they'll build it, and I think Joyce destroys him. I'm not Joyce. Oh my God. I mean, I think Dubois destroys him.
Yeah.
I did that on the other show too. I did that on my other on the Sunday show. I screwed up the names. I don't know why I said Joyce again today, but yeah, I think Dubois destroys him.
Yeah. Don Zibi saying that the BT telecast wasn't saying anything when Joyce was landing. Were you able to hear the commentary while he did the play-by-play, Beeb? Were they being biased?
You know what this is what I do. Yep. I have the iPad on my table, and I stick the headphones in the iPad, and then I stick the earbuds in here, and then I put my headphones over it so I can hear. I put one earbud in so I can hear the commentators, and I lower it. Then I leave. I can. I did, and I was getting sick listening to them.
Cali Nima says here Joyce will be fighting Nathan Gorman next. I think Joyce wins that fight. I was not impressed with Gorman at all, B. But what do you think of that?
Well, Gorman's got a tricky style. He may give Joyce some problems, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, the thing was Joyce isn't no Dubois. So
yeah, true.
Just because Dubois did that to Gorman, I think Gorman has a shot in that fight. Be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
Well, I think Joyce is a highlight reel knockout to somebody in the chat waiting to happen.
Yeah, Dubois is going to hurt Joyce.
Yeah, especially Dubois gets in there. No doubt about that.
Yeah, he's
what do you think his ceiling is, Dubois? You think he has a high ceiling?
Oh, Dubois?
Yeah.
I told Eric yesterday that Dubois is going to be better than Joshua.
Wow.
And I'll tell you why. Because he's not robotic. He's very fluid. He's smooth. And he's a lot more poised. And he seems more relaxed. And, I've talked about this, and you remember back on the Rope a Dope radio days.
Yeah.
About, there's a lot of factors on why a fighter has stamina issues. And a lot of it, too, is when you get that adrenaline rush and you can't control your adrenaline and you blow your wad, and a lot of that's mental. And I think that has a lot to do with Joshua. And same thing when De La Hoya used to fight. He used to always be so tense and so with a clenched fist. He used to be so tense. And you go back and watch, like, talking about the Pernell Whitaker fight.
Yeah.
He was just so tense, and he was so, tried so hard, and everything was just like so forced, and you could see his face was grimaced up and everything. And those types of fighters, they fatigue because they're overworking. They're stressing themselves out mentally. They're overexerting their adrenal glands, and they blow their wad. Joshua, I think, is partly because of his build, but sometimes too, I think a lot of times it's mental with Joshua too, because
Right.
Dubois is a big muscular guy, and he throws a lot of punches, and he doesn't seem to get tired
She's
because
more fluid. Yeah.
because he's relaxed, because he's
Yeah.
not so tight and tensed up. You see what I'm saying? Joshua is like tight, robotic, and he reminds me of De La Hoya, because De La Hoya at times, as good as a boxer as he was robotic. So those robotic, tight, tense type of guys, mentally they I think they over fatigue themselves. They blow their wad. They overexert their adrenal glands, and that's part of the reason why I think they have stamina issues. And Dubois doesn't have that problem. And that's the one glaring factor that I noticed with Dubois on Saturday was only 21 years old in the biggest fight of his career, and he had ice water going through his veins. He was relaxed, calm,
Right.
had a poker face on. I was almost surprised seeing him smile at the end of the fight, because normally he has that stoic look on his face all the time. So that's just
Uh,
that's just how I assess the situation. I think Dubois is going to be better than Joshua. He's going to be the next big, great heavyweight. I think he's gonna be the guy that the torch gets passed to, in my opinion.
all right. Someone's asking you, Beeb, did Frank Bruno ever have stamina issues? He had the same body type.
Frank Bruno had stamina issues, absolutely, but he was another guy that was very tight, very tense, very robotic. And I just don't think Dubois is a tense, tight, robotic guy. He's, like you said, and I said, he's fluid, he's smooth, and he just looks a lot more relaxed in there. So
Yeah.
that's what It's not always just the muscles too, because you know there's a lot of muscular guys out there that don't all have stamina issues.
Yeah. Well, very well said. And speaking of this weekend's fights, a fight I want to ask you about the aftermath. Ray Vargas beat Kameda. I did a play-by-play for that fight. If anybody wants to check it out, but I was with Kelly Enigma actually on that live feed. But Kameda came out, looked good for about 2 rounds or so, and then Ray Vargas overall just took over. He made some adjustments, started throwing some. He boxed very well in my in my opinion, but it's getting criticized by some Mexican fans, Beeb, saying he ran. That he didn't want to fight, and then Kameda himself came out in an interview saying that Ray Vargas was running. I mean, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, this is what I've always said: when a fighter says the other guy ran, that's a code word for he outboxed me. That's a code word for he outboxed me, and I couldn't cut the ring off on him. You know?
Yeah, that's a code word for you. Yeah, I
How
couldn't
many,
catch up to him. Yeah,
Let me ask you a question. How many
yeah.
people actually? How many people were able to run away from to run against Julio Cesar Chavez? How many people were able to run against Tyson? Not many. Why? Because
Yeah.
they knew how to cut off the ring.
Right.
So if you don't want a guy, if you want a guy, you want to stand in front of you. So in other words, if I'm a football team and I'm playing another football team,
Okay.
and I know that the football team has a good passing game, and my team has a good running game, right?
Yep.
So am I going to tell the other team, well, we defend better against a running offense instead of a passing offense. So can you not pass the ball and just run for the game?
Or
So
better
why?
yet, if you have balls, you're gonna run it against us, right?
Yeah. It's like why would you willingly give your strengths and your advantages away just so you could make an exciting fight? Or make a fight to make a fight a certain way that certain people would like it more. Now we saw Jamal James do that against Antonio DeMarco, and that fight was a lot more difficult, I should say, than it had to be. So why make an easy fight difficult for yourself? That's like saying I'm going to go to work today, and I know I can get this done in 15 minutes, but guess what? I'm going to drag it out for a half hour and just slow the pace of my workday down, and then I'm going to end up getting behind. Why? If you can do something easy, you do it easy, or I should say efficiently. It's
Right.
one thing being busy, as I said, and another thing, being productive. Anyone can be busy, but are you productive? So, am I just gonna do what you want me to do? You know? And he fought a beautiful fight from the outside, Ray Vargas. It wasn't like he wasn't landing and pot shotting from the outside.
He threw a lot of punches too.
A lot of punches, and he was snapping Kameda's head back, and the jab was phenomenal. So why would a good outside fighter play to the inside fighter's strengths? Yeah. It makes zero sense. Zero sense.
Well, we'll see what happens here. I mean, Kameda, I think he wanted Vargas to just come out and slug it out, but Vargas said, "Nah." He had Nacho in his corner, by the way. So
Nacho Berenstein, yeah.
You know, Nacho does not tolerate his fighters just fighting stupid. Yeah. So he's like, well, we didn't do all this training just so you could go forward and just start swinging.
And then if Vargas fought the Kameda's fight and did what everyone wants him to do now, and he ended up losing, you know what everyone would be saying the next day?
Yeah.
He should have boxed. He should have fought smarter.
He's an idiot. Why did he brawl it out?
You're never gonna make these fucking knuckleheads happy.
And if you say, well, he could have boxed him, they would have said, nah, he would have beat him anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what people would have said.
Exactly.
I didn't get to watch the DeMarco fight though. What happened in that fight?
Well, Jamal James decided to go to jump in the phone booth with Antonio DeMarco.
Okay.
When he could have easily fought him more effectively from the outside. So he decided in the 9th and 10th rounds to actually box him. And he was like having his way with DeMarco in the 9th and 10th round. But from rounds 1 through 8, he just stood right in front of him and they slugged it out. Now, he did win probably 8 of the 10 8 of the 10 rounds, but it's one of those fights where each round was a hard-fought round, from 1 through 8 was, and they really didn't have to be, because we've seen Jamal James, or I've seen Jamal James fight outstanding from the outside. He's a much better fighter when he boxes from the outside.
Oh, definitely. I'm surprised to hear he was just brawling it out.
Yeah, I mean, and DeMarco actually hurt him with a body shot in the 2nd round.
And that's what I mean, I didn't watch the fight, but it just kind of reminds me of the Ringside fight, right?
Yeah.
Like in Seja, not that long ago. Like, he's just slugging it out. I'm like, why? You know.
Well. The thing with Jamal James was he was in his hometown.
Okay.
He was on FS1. So he tried to. I guess he tried to put on a good show, make a statement, basically.
Right.
So.
Oh, I want to give a. Go ahead.
I'm sure he's going to go back and look at that tape. His trainer's going to go back and look at that tape. He's going to say, guess what? We're not going to do this again.
Well, you never know. Although I haven't seen the fight, but I will say that if you could beat, let's say, DeMarco at his own game, Beeb, that what that tells me is that if he's ever in a fight where one guy is outboxing him, he always has that on his back pocket.
Yeah.
Right.
It's good to be. I mean, it's good to be versatile. Don't get me wrong, but you got to pick and choose your spots.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this wasn't the time to brawl it out. You know what I mean? And I want to give a shout out to Scrapbook Boxing. You guys make sure you subscribe to Scrapbook Boxing. Great channel. Make sure you throw a jab at that like button. That's press the like button for those that are too literal. All right. And Scrapbook says, what's good? Haplotype wasn't able to make it tonight, but we'll have him next Monday for sure, Scrapbook. But shout out to you, and shout out to KF Harris in the house. All right, make sure you guys throw a jab at the like button as you come in. Beeb, we got a big fight this Saturday. Pacquiao Thurman. We're going to be done about this fight, all of us, right, in the coming weeks. Anybody with a YouTube channel. But what is your early prediction so far? Do you already have a solid concrete prediction?
I have a very solid prediction. I think Pacquiao wins by unanimous decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it like because he's a big name, so they're going to give it to him, or you think he's going to legitimately win?
He's going to win. I think he's going to win clearly. I think he's going to win 8 rounds to 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. 8 rounds to 4. I got Pacquiao winning too, but I think it's going to be controversial. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a close fight. I think you're going to see a lot of YouTube activity after that fight. Clifton Bronson in the house saying what's up to D Style and Beebs. Ashy Knuckles says salute to Beeb and D Style. Shout out to
Salute.
Ashy.
Shout
Ashy's
out to
back on
Ashy.
YouTube. You guys make sure you check him out.
Shout out to Ashy. Shout out to Clifton. Salute, salute, salute.
And Brian agrees. We got no business fighting like that, but he got the KO anyway. Jab that like button, says Scrapbook. Man, I just think that, first of all, am I making too much of the Josito Lopez performance, Beeb? Because he didn't look that good to me.
Well, here's the thing. Keith Thurman had 2 fights that were extremely close.
Yeah.
Sean Porter, Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia fight could have gone either way. Sean Porter fight was razor close. A lot of people thought Sean Porter won the fight. Okay. So when he has stepped the competition up, he hasn't been one time. Really hasn't. But here's the thing. Let's break down the styles.
Once upon a time.
Yeah, let's break down the styles.
Okay.
And I talked about this yesterday on our podcast. Pacquiao and Mayweather are probably the only 2 elite fighters of our generation, like this in recent years. You know, and I'm not gonna say our generation, in our era, in the modern era right now, in the last 15 years, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
They're the only 2 elite fighters. We had a lot of very good fighters in this most recent era, but Pacquiao and Mayweather were elite. So I'm gonna use an analogy, an example that I use. I said Pacquiao was in the penthouse when everyone else was in the lobby. Now, if Pacquiao goes down, maybe 2 or 3 floors, or even 5 floors, he's still in a pretty good place. Okay, he's still in an expensive room. He's still at a good place in the hotel, but everyone else is still down in the lobby. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's still above everybody else. He was here, and then he went down here. You know what I'm saying? But that's still good enough to beat everyone except for Crawford and Spence, in my opinion. I think he could beat anyone in this welterweight division except for Crawford and Spence. Because here's the thing, and you've heard me probably say this before in the past. Pacquiao has problems with guys who are right-hand dominant fighters, guys who have really sharp counter right hands, like Mayweather, Marquez, Morales. But go back and look at the guys he fought that were left-hand dominant. Cotto, De La Hoya, Hatton. He destroyed those guys. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He destroyed those guys. Because Pacquiao is one of those rare fighters, especially from a southpaw. If you watch Pacquiao, he moves to his left. Most fighters move to the direction of their lead hand, their jab hand, right? So most southpaws, they move to their right. Manny Pacquiao moves to his left, and he walks into right hands. But if you're a left hooker, he's actually moving away from your hook. So if you're a left-hand dominant fighter, like you look at Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, their weapon of choice is their left hook. Keith Thurman knocked Josito Lopez down with his left hook. Keith Thurman's big punch is his left hook. Okay? He's not a big right-hand puncher. Neither is Danny. Danny Garcia is an okay right-hand puncher, but he's more of a left-hand dominant guy. That's his power punch. Same thing with Sean Porter. Left hook, power punch. Okay? So another thing with Keith Thurman too is he's a mid-range fighter like Manny Pacquiao. He's not a real good inside fighter. He's an okay outside fighter. He does very well when he's in the mid-range. Why? Because the hook is his weapon of choice. It's a mid-range punch. Okay? If you watch Marquez, when Marquez fought Pacquiao, Pacquiao's the ambush guy. He's the guy that darts in and out. He's the guy that has those on-rushing attacks. So when Pacquiao would move forward, Marquez would take the step back, walk him into the right hand. Then when Pacquiao went back out to reset, Marquez followed him, and then one gave him a jab, right hand, a right hand left hook combo. So Keith Thurman isn't going to go all the way in. And when he goes all the way out, when Keith Thurman uses his legs a lot, he moves a lot, he takes himself far out of range, like Amir Khan. They both take themselves far out of range. So the transition from defense back to offense is a it's dramatic. It's a long transition. When you watch Pacquiao, another guy who has great legs, moves a lot too. He moves a lot, but he keeps himself just close enough where he can dart back in and he can transition faster. So you got a guy. Both guys have a great set of legs. Both guys have quick feet. Both guys move a lot. But one guy carries himself too far out of range, and the transition is longer than the other guy. So Pacquiao will beat him to the spot because they both want to meet in the mid-range area. But the thing is, Pacquiao will get to that mid-range area first, and when Pacquiao does get to that mid-range area first, he's a lot more prolific with his punches. He's a much more volume type puncher than Keith Thurman is. Keith Thurman doesn't throw a lot of punches. So I think Pacquiao will beat Keith Thurman to the spot time and time again. And when he does get there, I think he's going to outwork him. That's just how I see the fight.
Well, I see someone put in the chat, and I just want to go over something in a little bit. Clifton Bronson saying, hold on, I think I missed it. Hold on. Let me go back up for a moment. All right. Brian David, that is, I'm sorry. Take Thurman, easy money. He's too big, too strong. I mean, he has the biggest frame. However, this is the however.
It's not really that much bigger, though.
It's not that much bigger. Like, here's my thing.
He's 5'7", Pacquiao's 5'6".
Look, I was about to say, Thurman's 5'7", Pacquiao's like 5'5.5", 5'6".
5'6".
The reach, it's 69 inches for Thurman, 67 for Pacquiao. Since Pacquiao's moved to welterweight, he's faced bigger odds in terms of the reach against other fighters already. He's already used to that.
Yeah.
So there's not much of an advantage there. Like, Thurman, for some reason, people think he's bigger than he is, right, Beeb? I mean, it's
funny. It's so funny you say that. I've heard a lot of people. One of my old co-hosts actually said this to me. Like, met Keith Thurman in person. Says he's tiny.
Yeah.
Look at his frame. He doesn't have a big frame at all. He's thin. Like, Sean Porter's a pretty stocky, decent sized guy. Danny Garcia is decent size. Spence is a big dude. Okay. Keith Thurman's not a big dude.
And also, this is not Pacquiao moving up to welterweight for the first time either. Like, he's been fighting his weight class for a while. So, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be as big of a factor, man. I don't at all, really.
DC says Thurman has a bigger frame. I think he has a slightly longer frame. I don't think he's got a thicker frame. Like Pacquiao is a very muscular guy. Look at his calves. Look at his legs. He's a big guy, man. He's got a big upper body for his frame. Pacquiao's short, but he's.
You think there's going to be a big weight difference the day of the fight?
Well, Keith Thurman may have about 5 pounds on him fight night, but not a lot. Because Pacquiao just doesn't get that heavy.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that. I mean, in my opinion, it's not as big of a factor as people think. I mean, we're going to see. But, Scrapbook says if Pacquiao goes to Thurman's body early, he retracted the statement. I don't know what happened. Phil Nunez says Pacquiao's too old. He's still technically in his prime and hungry to beat. I think he's referring to Thurman. He's in his prime and he's hungry. Good point. I've heard Beeb, and it is a good point in my opinion. Is Thurman has probably pictured this fight in his head for I don't know how long, right? You think he's a little more prepared than Pacquiao, going into this fight?
I mean, I pictured myself in bed with Jenna Jameson time and time again. You can picture anything you want. I mean, reality is reality, and what you think is what you think. You know, I mean, whatever floats your boat. But I just don't like.
I just want to slightly disagree with you on something, if I may. So
sure, go ahead.
I agree with the height thing and all that, but the frame, and not so much the muscle. Like Pacquiao has, thick, calves and
Yeah.
arms and stuff. But as in terms of the frame, I'm talking about the skeleton. There's no way Thurman could ever fight at any point of his professional career at featherweight. I mean, I just
No.
don't see that. So
No.
I think
No.
that's what people mean. That's what I mean. That he's a bigger frame. He's a bigger skeleton than Pacquiao. Like
Ah,
Thurman's probably gonna end his career at 154 at least. You know what I mean?
that's a fair point. But Pacquiao fought at 154 too. But yeah, I mean,
At a catch weight.
he's bigger, but it's not like a great size advantage.
Right.
Like other fighters have bigger size advantages over Manny Pacquiao.
Right.
Like Miguel Cotto's bigger than Keith Thurman. Antonio Margarito's bigger than Keith Thurman. Shane Mosley's bigger than Keith Thurman.
Well, I want to know if you agree with this. Scrapbook just said if Pacquiao goes to Thurman's body early, he believes Thurman will have a tough time handling Pacquiao's speed down the stretch, especially from the southpaw stance. What do you think about that? You think he'll go to the body? He's not known as a body puncher, Pacquiao. So
I think he will. He'll try it.
he'll sink in some shots once in a while. Yeah,
And I think Pacquiao's faster than Thurman, even at 40.
yeah,
I do.
I agree.
I do.
I agree with that. And if anybody wants to say, well, look, Pacquiao lost to Mayweather. Look, I don't think Thurman would have beaten Mayweather in 2015.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he beats him, right?
I don't think so.
So it's and even though I thought it was close, but I felt he won the Horn fight.
I had the Horn fight a draw, but again,
Okay.
it was he had a big gash on his head. It was just. I think he underestimated Horn a little bit, and it was a crazy style matchup for him. It really was.
And Horn really was a lot bigger than Pacquiao.
Horn's big. Horn's really big.
So I think people play a lot into that. But man, I think people maybe they don't like Broner or something. I don't know what it is, but I think Broner's a really good boxer, and I think Pacquiao looked really good against him.
Yeah.
So I think the speed is still there. Boxing conversation with Reggie Owens in the house, man. What's going on? Felix Nunes, if Thurman loses, what's next for him? What do you think, Beeb? You think he retires if he loses? I mean, he's been gone for a while.
If Thurman loses, it's going to be a serious rebuilding process for him.
Does it become food for the division? Food for Spence, Crawford,
I think Spence murks him.
Yeah.
I think
He murks both of them, but yeah.
Yeah, I think like Spence is a real dangerous fighter. And you can say what you want about the Garcia fight, but he went into that fight with a concerted effort to box.
Now, I want to tell Brian David, I'm gonna be back next Monday. I'm gonna be doing a play-by-play. But if Thurman wins, hey, I'll eat my crow. But if he loses, I want to see you here next Monday, bro. Right? I'm just saying. Right? Ace in the house. What's going on? Ace 2008. Welcome. Make sure you guys throw a jab. Let's get to 20 likes right now. We're almost there. Beeb, you have any early final thoughts? I know we're going to be talking about this fight on our channels for the coming days. So, but anything else you wanted to add about the fight?
Well, age ain't nothing but a number. Okay, and we're in a different.
I don't know. Well, I mean, he is 40 though. That's quite a number, Beeb.
Okay, but we're in a different era right now, where when you look at guys, and you look at sports medicine, you just look at all the information that's out there. You look at science. We're able to do things like we've advanced as a society. Okay. So being 40 now and then being 40 back like 25, 30 years ago is a different thing. Back when a prime example, when Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler fought, right? Marvin Hagler was 36 years old. Sugar Ray Leonard was 33. Okay? And they were considered old. Okay? When Muhammad Ali was like 30, 31, 32, and he fought Foreman, who was like 25, Muhammad Ali was considered old. So now when you look at guys who are 33, 34, hell, Mayweather when he was 37 was still the best pound for pound fighter in the world. So I think we've gotten smarter with sports medicine, sports science. We have supplements out there, and unfortunately, we have PEDs out there that are probably more advanced now. Because back in the day, they used to take stuff like amphetamines and speed and stuff like that. Now they got different stuff they're taking now. So being 40 now isn't the same as being 30 years ago. That's all I'm saying.
Now, age 2008, you say you're age 810. I'm not saying I don't believe you, but I don't know. All right. I'll check on that when the stream is over. Right.
I mean, I'm 50.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason why I think I look younger than 50 is because knowledge is power.
Right.
Simple and plain. I've learned like I know that I have to work out. I know I have to do cardio. I know I have to eat right. That doesn't mean I can't go to the Chinese buffet every now and then, but I know I can't go every day. I know I can't go twice a day. I don't drink. I don't smoke. So I train differently now than I trained because I learned that sometimes more isn't always better.
Right.
So I mean, I just think we've people athletes have gotten smarter with their nutrition. They've gotten smarter with their training. They've gotten smarter with basically not fighting 10 times a year anymore. So this is why fighters are able to be successful in their late 30s, early 40s.
Right. Now, I do want to. Felix Nunes is asking, who is this guy? His name is Joe Beeb. Beeb, let everybody know where they can find you, bro, before we continue.
Ringside Reporter Live is my channel, and we have a weekly podcast every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, where we recap the week's fights, and we recap the news and the breaking story, and go over the fight schedule and preview the upcoming fights and recap the fights, like I said, from the previous week. And I also do videos during the week, and we also do shows during the week. But the big show that we do is on Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you check that out. Thank you so much. I hope you do subscribe.
Definitely.
Subscribe, I should say.
Absolutely. Just got a new subscriber. Look at that. He said he's going to subscribe.
I appreciate that.
Joseph, Natural, I see you. Joseph Brown says, DStyle, salute. I'm joined by Joe Habib from Ringside Reporter. Boxing Reggie Owen says, great point. 40 today is different from yesteryear. Okay, and in Ace 2008, AJ10 says, great insights by Beeb. I don't know who blocked AJ10, but I'm going to have to do something about these wrenches again. I don't know how you do it in your channel, Beeb, but sometimes you give some people wrenches and crazy shit happens.
Sometimes you got to take all the wrenches, put them back in the toolbox, and then stop passing them out again slowly.
Yeah. But that's the residential fact checker. Who the hell's blocking my fact checker? Okay.
I like that guy too. He's a real, he's really active in the chat, and he does some good work in there, man.
He's the official fact checker of DStyleBoxing. All right, on the show. So I don't know who did that, man. Okay, someone blocked AJ. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this, but people get look, and a lot of you are gonna get mad when I take away the wrench. It's nothing personal. I just got to get to the bottom of it. You know what I mean?
Gotta get to the bottom of it.
Absolutely. Now, Beeb, right behind me, all right, there's a picture of a guy, all right? Everyone counted this guy out so many times. Let me tell you something, all right? People said he had no shot. Even in my poll, he can't beat Cotto in the poll. He beat Cotto in the poll last week. And this is Timothy Bradley Appreciation Week. Remember that Junior Witter fight when he won in Nottingham, England?
Yes. I do remember that.
I remember, you know how we were talking about, man, Jennings has to knock this guy down so many times. And you were talking about that feeling you had with Kid Gallan.
Kid Gallan, yeah.
Yeah, I had that same feeling when Bradley fought Junior Witter, and it was going to the scorecards.
Yeah.
And he won by a split decision, even though I think he clearly won that fight. It was
Yeah.
competitive, but I felt he won.
Yeah, he won that fight.
How surprised were you when he got the decision?
Well, I'll tell you, it's a rarity in this sport. It's a rarity in this sport, and I was very surprised he got that decision. Very surprised. And he says he wasn't surprised, but I think he was. I think he was biting his fingernails at the end of that fight when the final bell rang.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And that was a big win for Timothy Bradley, but he was still counted out, man. Like I remember people just saying, like, this guy's a knockout waiting to happen." And one fight that people said he's going to get knocked out in was the Holt fight. People were correct about one thing. All right, they were correct about one thing, that Holt was going to catch him with a counter left hook, and he did. Okay, and he did drop him, and that would have knocked out 99% of fighters, right? But Bradley somehow, I have no idea how, popped back up from that counter left hook.
he looked like he was out. He looked like he was going to get knocked out, didn't he, in that fight?
Yeah. Like the dude, when the only guy I know that got up that fast from a knockdown was Ali when Frazier knocked him down, right? Like he literally just popped back up, and then he survived the round, and then he went on to just rout Holt. You know what I mean? He stopped exchanging with him. He boxed him and pressured him a little bit, and won that fight, man. I remember we did a post fight for that fight. I don't know if you remember the fight. It's been a while.
Yeah, I remember the fight.
That was a good win for him. And then, of course, that one was promoted as East Coast versus West Coast. I remember the promotion for that fight. But that counter hook, man, Bradley showed that night he had a chin. All right. The Nate Campbell fight, man, what controversy, right?
That was crazy.
The head of Bradley got in the way of so many fights. I remember you talking about this, but what were your thoughts on people that would complain about Bradley using his head?
Well, this is the thing about Bradley. Bradley gets low, and he throws a punch, and he leans forward, and if his head gets there, it gets there. In other words, he throws that right hand. It's not like he's not gonna make a conscious effort like, oh, when I'm moving forward, I better make sure that my head doesn't move forward with me. You know what I'm saying? This is the way he threw his right hand. He would lean forward with his body and come up over the top he would throw that right hand from his back pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pull it back and go boom over the top, and his head went along with it. And that's just the way it was. People act like he was during training. Remember I said this? You laughed when I said this before. I said this before on the radio show. It's not like the guy's holding mitts for him and he's going 1-2 head, 1-2 head.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't think I never thought it was intentional. I thought it was incidental contact, to be perfectly honest with you. So
you think? I remember Nick Campbell. They got that overturned. It got a no contest. I don't remember if it was overturned or it was just. Do you remember if he lost that fight, then they overturned it?
No, I don't think they overturned it.
It was just it's probably under 3 rounds. But if I had a fact checker.
Was it ruled a no contest? I think it was. Let me pull that up because I'm curious. I think it was ruled a no contest.
Well, it was a no contest, but when I looked it up, I thought he won the fight. I thought Bradley won.
I want to see if they overturned it.
Yeah, because I don't know if anybody knows. I usually have a fact check on here. We could get AJ10 to check on that for us.
No, it's still a no contest in the record.
No contest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no contest.
Okay.
I thought they overturned it.
Now, the fight I wanted to get to was, I remember this was a big hyped up fight because the lead up to the fight, if you remember, Peterson was getting a lot of hype that supposedly he was beating up Mayweather in training. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then I think I don't know if it was his trainer or just somebody in his camp was on the Showtime show talking about how, oh no, you remember when Kobe came in and he took over and Michael Jordan was with the Wizards? Well, that's what's going on.
Oh God.
Peterson's the next big thing, Wow. Maybe not. Sparring stories are crazy, man. But they were bragging about how, or the word was getting out that Peterson was getting the best of Mayweather. So that on the lead up to that fight, a lot of people were hyped up on Peterson.
I picked Peterson.
You picked Peterson?
I did.
Wow.
I picked Peterson to win that fight.
So
I'm a big Lamont Peterson fan.
wow, well, he got beat up in that fight.
Yeah, he lost that fight by a wide decision.
Yeah, he showed a lot of
Very
heart,
wide.
man. But man, Bradley. Um, one of the reasons this fight I like this fight was because one, he proved again it was one of those fights that, oh no, if he fights Peterson, he's gonna lose it. Like people were always counting this guy out, dude.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's crazy. And then he would come out and he just exceeded expectations. I mean, I remember that right hand landing, and it looked like he was landing hard, but for some reason Bradley couldn't knock dudes out. I mean, what do you think that was? I
It's
mean,
hard.
it was obviously keeping guys off of him.
You
You know?
know, Tommy Hearns had Bradley in the ring once. He was showing him how to throw that right hand,
Yeah.
and I guess Bradley didn't dig his toes into the canvas and really twist in, and you maybe he needed to use more of his legs when he punched. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of his punches were, I'm not gonna say they were arm punches, but they were mostly generated from his upper body and not enough hip and lower body. So
Yeah.
I think it's technique, man. To be perfectly honest with you, not that he had bad technique, but he just never really worked on sitting down on his shots properly. I think.
Yeah. I mean, that could be. I think that snap wasn't there. Like the power was there, but the snap wasn't there, right? Something. I don't
Yeah,
because it looked like. I mean, if he didn't have any punching power, I believe Peterson would just walk through him, right? But that didn't happen. You know,
yeah,
so
yeah,
um, now I remember he moved up and fought Abrego at 147. You remember that fight?
yeah. I do.
And were you impressed with that fight? It was what you expected.
I was very impressed with that fight. Thought he hurt, Apergu. I was surprised. I was surprised. Apergu's a big guy. You
Yeah.
know.
Uh, AJ10 says Bradley seems to use force. The force used to come from the upper body instead of using all of his leverage towards the target. Do you think there's something to that?
Well, that's basically what I just said.
Okay.
You know.
Joseph Brown, Bradley showed a ton of heart as a fighter. I respect as a fighter, but that's where it ends for me. Well, um, the Alexander fight, what big of a letdown was that?
I once again I picked Alexander. I picked Alexander.
Man, I had to write codes for this one because the theme is everybody counted him out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
I did pick him to beat Manny Pacquiao.
I can't get on you too much. I had Alexander. I picked him to win as well, but I was wrong.
I picked him I picked him to beat Manny Pacquiao, and I actually bet on him. And
Okay.
I ended up getting 9-1 odds when I bet on him.
When you finally make the right choice, right?
Yeah.
Um, back to the Alexander fight. I know you don't like to talk about guys quitting, but did you think Alexander found a way out? You think he used the headbutt thing? Talking about the headbutt again, because
Oh,
I remember him holding the wrong side of his face.
yeah. That's he kind of
You
told
know what
on
I
him.
mean?
He kind of told on himself.
So I don't remember what side he hit. If someone in the chat remembers, but he headbutted him, and then he's like, ah, like so. I don't know. I don't know. Chief Funk says I picked Bradley over Alexander. Ashy Knuckles, if it was the Wrangle fight, right, Beep Alexander?
Yeah, that was his big. That
Okay.
was that big win. Big uppercut.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Ace says the fight had a lot of hype, then it turned into a forgettable bout. I remember I mean, that was terrible promotion for that fight. And I remember they got a lot of guaranteed money for that fight, but and they give him a guarantee to remember Beep for the next fight as well.
Yeah. Yeah. They both got guarantees for the next fights. They both got $1 million paydays for the next fights.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shortly after that, man, Bradley got his big shot. He just talked about it against Bradley. I mean, against Pacquiao. I know you said he picked him to win. Did you score the fight? I know the answer already, but for the audience, did you score the fight for Bradley?
I did. I scored at 115 and 113.
Now, was that because you bet on Bradley?
No. No,
No.
I did not. I actually thought he edged it out.
I had to mention it. I had Pacquiao winning that fight. I had it close. I had it close, way closer than HBO had it. But I felt Pacquiao edged it out, personally. But those are the only losses of Bradley's career, man. The Pacquiao fights. That's it.
Yeah.
He beat Marquez, and then he had a draw. I forgot the dude's name, but he had a draw.
How did Harold Edmonds score that fight? What did he have, like 11 rounds to 1?
That was crazy.
That was ridiculous.
I think the HBO commentators got on this like group think, and they didn't get out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's horrible.
Well, Beeb, I want to thank you for joining me and tell everybody again where they could find you.
Ringside Reporter Live on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter, JAbeeb1. Facebook is Joe Habib. Yep. And make sure you check us out, Ringside Reporter Podcast, every Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and we will be there. Not really. A couple people had Bradley winning.
I was about to mention that Wild B was the only person in the world that had Bradley winning. Brian Kenny had him winning, right? And I remember a couple of YouTubers had him winning, but most of us had it closer. Had it closer than HBO had it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So that's that. Remember, guys, make sure you go to the polls. Go to DStyleBoxing. I'm sorry. Go to youtube.com/DStyleBoxing/community, and you can vote on those polls, man. Vote for Morales, man. Let's do it. I want a terrible week here, but it looks like Roy Jones is going to take it. But make sure you vote anyway. Okay, just reach that threshold, the 65 minimum. Go vote, or you could also click on my name, DStyleBoxing. Vote there. All right. Beeb, can you post something, just whatever, on the chat right now, really quick? So anybody listening on archive or on the chat right now, click on the Ringside Reporter, right? And you can go ahead and subscribe to that channel. They have a great show on Sundays, and Beeb does YouTube videos throughout the week, man. Hit that bell button on my channel as well. All right, this is DStyle Boxing. And you guys, Beeb, make sure you post something on the chat so people can just click on your icon and go subscribe to your channel there really quick. And let's get to 30 likes before I go, man. Somebody hit that like button. Let's get to 30 likes. Right? Thanks, Ace. I'm going to check on that. See what's going on with that. I don't know who blocked AJ10. I have no idea. But something's going to have to be done about that. This is DStyle Boxing. Keep it boxing. I'm out.